What's up, everybody? How are you doing?
Woo!
I'm Drew,
And I'm Kat.
and this is Let's Party, Prayer, and Punk Rock.
Yeah, it is.
We decided to start that little dingy there for you because that's what we did last week.
Oh, that was super fun.
Last Wednesday, May 1st, we went and saw Me First. That's the band we're going out with. We went and saw Foo Fighters play at the Dos Equis Pavilion here in Texas, in Dallas.
Yeah. We went there for Sublime and Incubus.
Oh, man. Yeah, we did. We went last year.
So we had a different
viewpoint this time.
Yeah.
We had like seats because this was like an amphitheater. So,
right.
You know, well, before we get into all that, should we say a prayer first here?
Oh, yes.
Before we get a little
let's
bit
do
too
that.
detailed,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because then we're going to go off on a tangent and that road gets long.
Okay, you did it last time, so
All right.
I'll do it this time.
All righty, here we go.
All right. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the podcast, for our family, for our marriage especially. We come to you in great gratitude for our health and our life and our family and our children and all of our friends and people who are listening. I ask that you be with them in their hearts and their minds and their souls in their special way that they need you most. In Jesus' beautiful name, amen.
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 All right. So we were talking about the concert here. So it was...
So we were in the lawn.
Yeah, it was it's an amphitheater. So there's like lawn seating. And we sat in the section, I think it was like section 101. So we were in like the section more closer to the stage
first
when
time
we saw
we went.
Incubus and Sublime.
Yes.
And then this time we just got lawn seats because... I mean, honestly, it was cheaper.
And it was sold out, wasn't it? Or like
no,
almost?
when I got the tickets, they did have section seating
Oh,
available,
okay.
but they're about $100 more than the lawn seating, you know? And I mean, not that, we didn't want to have those types of seats, but at amphitheater shows too, like sometimes the further back you are, the better the sound is.
Yeah.
But, we kind of got there a little
not
late.
as back as
Well,
we
we got there a little late due to traffic and things of that nature. So, we ended up kind of like getting more of a back seat,
Yeah.
But it was still pretty good, though, I got to say.
I mean, it was kind of cool because we were all the way at the back and there was like the stone, so I could get up we got up in the stone and got like higher up and got to see it. And I got to dance like nuts. It was
you did.
great. Nobody was behind me. I wasn't bugging anybody. I was flailing arms, jumping all around, acting like crazy. Had like 2 monsters.
Yeah, we did have quite a few monsters.
Oh my gosh. But you know what? I had a great time. It was a Wednesday night too, which is so fun.
I had to work in the morning.
For a Wednesday night, I mean, it's showing up like it's Friday.
Yeah. I liked his energy. I liked Dave Grohl's, the way he got the crowd into it and kind of just, hey man, who wants to play for 2 hours? Who wants to play for 2:15, 2:30, 2:45? I think, it was about 2.5 hours they played. But man, they played everything. I mean, they literally played anything you wanted to hear. They played.
I like how he would go in and out of different songs, play different songs in one song.
First verse of one, then start into another, and then go back to the last couple verses of that first song. Yeah, it was pretty good.
And he had a tribute to
Taylor Hawkins. Yeah. He played. I think it was Aurora, and that's a great song.
Yeah, because that was his favorite song.
Yeah, and that I didn't know that Taylor Hawkins was. Born and raised in Texas, in Dallas, I guess.
Yeah.
So, there was sort of like, and that's what Dave Grohl was saying, this is sort of we always have a home here because of that, his family would come out. It's like, oh, dude, right on. That's pretty cool,
It's touching and sad.
Yeah. But, man, he rocks.
Yeah, he does.
And Josh Freese, our new drummer, he used to drum for, like, the Vandals and, 9 Inch Nails and Perfect Circle and Tool, everybody. And now I guess he's their permanent drummer, and man, he kills it.
Yeah.
He is awesome.
Do you pay like certain specific attention to the drummer because you're a drummer?
I mean,
or are you just kind of paying attention to all the things?
I mean, I just kind of know who the artists are if I'm going to see them, already. But I mean, like if because I like to drum or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like pay attention to all of it. you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll listen to the drums, but then listen to the guitars, and then just kind of like close your eyes and just listen to it all, you know?
I listen to the way I listened to music before our relationship was mainly just lyrics. Of course, you feel the beat and all that stuff, of course, but I never really pinpointed an instrument to listen to it, or like, you've taught me how to listen differently.
The way certain instruments come in or go out, or
does that like distract you from listening to like a full song ever?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's usually what either makes or breaks a song for me sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I don't really like think about it, you know. Then when you ask me, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I guess, I mean, if I had to think about it, yeah. I mean, you know, like if at a live show, I might be looking at the drummer to start, you know, like, you know, and usually you got to kind of look over your,
yeah,
you know, you're kind of, but I mean, for the most part, it's really, I like to hear that live sound, that just the way everything sounds live, and then you can just hear it all as a whole, the way they all come together, and as I've been trying to make music myself, you know, you realize how difficult that can be, you know?
Right.
And so it's interesting just to see how everybody sort of just, especially live, I mean, it's not like you really have certain things necessarily formatted. Sometimes things just come out of the blue, and it's interesting to see how those all play out, you know?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. There are bands that, you know, you have to see live, and they're not that great on an album maybe. Yeah. And then there's bands that, you know, are better on the album than they are live. But like Linkin Park was one of those bands. I was never really a fan. And then I saw them live, and I was like, dude, okay, I'm a fan. You know, Bruce Springsteen, same thing. You know,
have you ever gone to a concert and been like, oh my gosh, they're so much better on tape?
That
you can think of.
Not really. Yeah. Usually it's the opposite. Usually it's like, dude, you guys sound good, so good live. Why don't you sound this way on your album? You know? You know, it's like a lot more drive or something, you know? But I've never really come across something, like that where it's, you know, because usually, I mean, if I just don't feel it on the CD or whatever it was I was listening to back in the day, cassette, then, you know, then I probably wouldn't even see him in the first place, you know? Yeah. But sometimes things can't, but that's where things can turn around, because sometimes you kind of like, well, I'm just, you know, they have some cool hits, whatever. Not really my thing. And then you see them live and you're like, whoa, ooh. All right, I want to go back and listen to some of their albums, you know. It's kind of interesting how that works. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
And doing your own music, you have a new appreciation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have respect for people that do that, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So before we get into the movies and all the other fun things that we've been doing, let's kind of circle back to our Bible study here.
Yeah.
Well,
I just been kind of like, you know, I'm like reading the Bible and whatnot, and so I'm in Isaiah right now, and there was just a part that kind of caught my attention that I thought was kind of interesting, that, you know, might be something worth talking about. And it's just, you know, it's essentially just the sins that we commit probably on a daily basis, and kind of convince ourselves that they're okay because they're not really harming anybody, or, you know, do they really do this? And I just thought it was kind of interesting, because I know in my life, like, that's how I had led my life for a while, especially with alcohol. You know, it's kind of like, you know, just trying to find excuses why it's okay. And I mean, and whether or not it's alcohol or drugs or pornography or extramarital affairs or cheating or, you know, work issues, you know, I mean, it's all said and done. Sin is sin. You know, it doesn't matter what it is, you know, and of course some sins can take priority over others, like murder. Yeah, right. But, you know, but these are the verses that kind of caught my attention, and it was in Isaiah 5, 18 through 20. And it says, "Woe to those who draw sin along with cords of deceit, and wickedness with cart ropes, and those who say, 'Let God hurry, let him hasten his work, so we may see it, the plan of the Holy One of Israel. Let it approach, let it come into view, so we may know it. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.'" I just find that kind of interesting, because I have an application Bible, so, you know, I kind of was like, okay, I think I understand what they're saying here, because Isaiah is essentially trying to, you know, he's he's ministering to the people. And what's interesting to me about Isaiah is that God even tells him directly that you're going to be a prophet. You're going to speak the word of God, but no one's going to listen to you. You know,
Yeah.
But it's interesting because what God does say is that he says that, and it's what he does tell him is that these things will plant seeds for future generations that will eventually.
And then here we are.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Wow.
So I mean, it's kind of interesting that he's even told at the beginning, that look, these things that you're going to preach, they're not really going to get through to the people. But I mean, I just find it interesting that it does cast a light on sort of like what we do, and it does. So I was looking at the application part, and that's kind of like what it talks about is how people do just drag their sins around, and they might not really think about what they're doing as necessarily being somewhat as sinful as it may be, But when you drag them around, I mean, it's extra weight. That extra weight causes friction, stress, problems, and you might not think that it's building up weight, but it is.
Yeah.
And I just think it's kind of interesting that we do tend to do that. I know with alcohol, that's what I would do. Kind of finding excuses. All right, just this last one. I'm only going to have 5 tomorrow instead of 8. Whatever you had to do to convince yourself, And when you do that, I mean, it's kind of interesting because when you are kind of like trying to convince yourself that it's okay, I mean, you are literally deciphering right and wrong. Like, I mean, in your brain, you know what's right and wrong, but you're trying to talk yourself into why this is okay. It's okay to do it.
An excuse.
So, I mean, you're fully aware of it being right and wrong, but you're just trying to convince yourself as to why it's okay to do it this time, or the sin isn't as bad as other things, or something like that. I just think it's kind of interesting because we do tend to walk around that way,
Yeah,
and I mean,
it is true.
I don't know. I just found it kind of interesting and kind of something to talk about.
Some things are forgiven by people, easily. Oh, a white lie or whatever. But it's still a white lie.
Right.
Something soft or whatever. Not like that is compared to murder. But
right.
But
like the sins that we carry around daily, maybe it is alcoholism or drugs or an extramarital affair or pornography or cheating at school or anything, I mean, if we do these things, especially on a constant basis, I mean, man, that is just you're drying up the well.
It starts to darken your spirit.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I know through firsthand experience. Yeah, I mean, you think it's like you're trying to cloud your own judgment, but like I don't know. It's like, but you're smart enough to know what you're doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need a good, kick in the pants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or meet you.
Come to Jesus moment.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Come to Jesus, whatever that is for you.
And for me too, I mean, like I mentioned before that, like God talked to me, in a dream and whatnot, and it's kind of funny how, I mean, I didn't necessarily just get up right away and go, all right, today is the day I change. No, it still took me a little while to kind of, but it was a stepping stone, but.
And one you remember forever.
Oh yeah, for sure. But it was a pivotal moment for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely was.
Man.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting,
And sin can weigh you down.
Yeah.
And God died. Jesus died for our sins. So, he saw you do it. He was with you when you did it, and he knew you were going to do it before you did it. And so here it is. Bring it to him, you and him, when you're alone. Bathroom or whatever, bring him your sins. Be humble. Hey, I know I did this. You don't have to admit it to anybody else, but you can admit it to God, asking for help.
And saying it out loud.
Say it out loud.
I've always felt, I mean, you can say it without saying it out loud. You're just driving in your car thinking it, Lord, pray for me for this.
Sure, he can hear
But, for me, I know for me personally, saying it out loud, it's like
feels
recognizing
better.
it more because you're hearing it yourself. You know
Also,
what I mean?
you're speaking
Lord,
it.
I did this and I apologize. Please,
and you're getting it out of you when you say it.
Sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a way, it's venting.
It's releasing that energy, that pain.
And no one hears you in the car. No one's looking at you.
Right.
Except when you pick your nose. No one will give a crap about you. You could be jumping around in your car. I mean, there could be fireworks going off. And no one's looking at you at all. But the second you pick your nose, everyone's looking. I don't know that from experience because I don't do that.
Yeah.
But I just know it's funny because, I mean, there have been plenty of times where I've just come to a stop or I'm on the freeway and you kind of like look around, and you just, man, it's like perfect timing. You look over and they're just like, and it's like oh wow, I even saw how much of that finger you put in.
And then you like see him and you're like, I'm so sorry you saw me see you do that. Like,
well, then,
I feel bad for you.
Well, and then sometimes you turn away real quickly, but then you're like, oh, what are they going to do with it? You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, did they rub it off and flick it out the window? What's going on here? All right, so their
really
car's littered.
Ew. Gross.
If I directly look over and see someone pick their nose, well, I mean, I kind of got to make sure that I'm not going to crash the car in front of me because that'd be an interesting story to tell the insurance company. But yeah, I want to see if they are like
what they do with it.
Yeah.
Ew,
it's like a businessman or like the woman that's all prepped up and then she's just like bam with a big old fake nail. I don't know how women can even do that. I guess you can't pick your nose if you have like big long fake nails on.
Oh yeah, you can get up.
I mean, you can, but like, man, boy, that's like really.
Yeah, you gotta be careful not to.
That's
give
like
yourself,
an auger bit.
Give yourself like a bloody nose if you go too far.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord have mercy. Yeah. I remember in kindergarten, one of my only memories as a young child, as a little boy, was sitting in the reading circle, and he ate it. He picked it and ate it, and I did not get near him the whole semester. This barely, like, the one memory I remember from kindergarten. It was so disgusting to me. I was so grossed out. Thank God Jack was not a nose picker eater.
I've only got a few memories of kindergarten, and one is getting a swat because I ate popcorn off the Christmas tree. And another was I mean, it's probably something I probably shouldn't say.
You got swatted?
Yeah, well, it was at First Baptist Church of Lakewood private school. You used to be able to do that. Oh my God. It was like whatever, like 1981 or 80.
Yeah.
Can
never do that now.
Probably not, no.
Oh, no. And shouldn't.
Another one was, I remember me and my buddy Eric Reynolds. What up, Eric? And Aaron Randall. What's up, Aaron? We tried to look up the teacher's aide's dress.
Oh my goodness! You remember that?
And I remember she had a big old pink dress, and it was just a bunch of frilly stuff. It was like couldn't see anything.
Did somebody else tell you to do it, or was it your idea?
It wasn't my idea. It was someone's idea, and I was involved in the idea.
And you're not going to rat them out?
No!
Okay,
never.
So let me ask you this.
I don't know whose idea it was,
You
honestly.
were always running with the crowd that always got in trouble.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
for the most part.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I was a punk kid.
It's so different now, like, from growing up in the 80s and now when it comes to, like, my mom didn't know where I was for 6-7 hours in that day. Like, on a Saturday, I'd roam the streets.
Oh, yeah.
Going in people's houses, having snacks, eating whatever I want.
By the time I was, in junior high, I was riding my bike from Belmont Shore, Long Beach.
Yeah.
And I pretty much take 2nd Street all the way down to the drainage ditch.
Yeah.
And take the drainage ditch to Seal Beach.
Your mom did not know you were doing that.
Oh, yeah.
She did?
I was going to Rob's. That's how I got to Rob's. I do that all through
until
I got a car.
Never let our kids do that, ever.
I mean, and I would leave in the morning on a Saturday, maybe ride my bike back home. Maybe that night, maybe not. Stay the night there. Go see a movie, hang out.
How old were you, like 13?
Yeah, 13, 14. And then
were
through
you
high
tall
school
by
until I had my own car.
Were you like Sam? Were you tall?
I wasn't like short. I mean, I was like average size.
I would never ever let Sam
I wasn't
do
like
that.
as tall as Sam at his age.
Would you let Sam do that?
Probably not now. Probably not.
I just think about it, like, come home when the lights turn on, you know. I was in so many different people's homes.
But I don't know. For me, like, I grew up in North Long Beach. Like, I had a good, like, street sense because of what happened, what was going on around me. So, I mean, I knew how, and I knew direction. I mean, I knew where to get after only being there once. Didn't matter what.
Your mom let you go outside in that neighborhood? Play?
Oh, no. In North Long Beach?
Way,
no, we are not allowed to go around the block. Of course we did, but we are not allowed to go around the block.
Right.
We were barely allowed to go down the street in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But then by then, yeah, it was like...
I grew up in Illinois, in like a little... I mean, it's not a cul-de-sac, but we played kickball in the street and just yelled car,
Yeah.
So it wasn't, like, busy.
Yeah, we kind of had...
protected.
In North Long Beach, we had, like, a street that came off the main one, but then they ended up closing that off because a drunk driver ended up sideswiping a car through there, and then their car went right through our neighbor's house.
I forgot you told me that.
Yeah, and the kid had just left for college like 2 days prior.
Right.
And this
What a
car,
blessing.
boom, went right into the house.
Lord.
And so they blocked off that. So it was kind of like this curve right there. You couldn't get through it. So we almost had like our own cul-de-sac.
That's good.
And we all just hang out there in the middle of the street. I mean, like we were primarily in the middle of the street, but my mom wasn't home though either. She was a single mom.
Single mom, yeah.
But it was like, but we made ramps. It's like they don't do that these days. Like we made ramps with 2x4s and bricks. You know what I mean?
What do you mean we don't? Jack would totally do that. We just need a 2x4 and some bricks.
No one seems to do that. I don't know.
Our kids play outside.
Ours do, but I don't know. It's a lot different than it was then. I don't know.
I like calling you out.
Calling me out. Call me out.
Didn't you get in like a garbage can and throw it around?
We used to dumpster dive.
Or no, I mean get thrown around in it.
Oh yeah,
and,
I was a
spun
kid.
around and
my sister would
spin
put
out.
us in a trash can and swing us around. It's like our own little personal amusement park.
Oh my god!
But then she made the mistake of putting the slip and slide on the driveway, and she slid on. She went to go do it on the concrete and broke her tailbone. Oh god, that would hurt.
I know that story. It makes me hurt every time I hear it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I can only imagine that.
Okay, we rabbit holed down some stuff that's not on the list, so I'm gonna bring us back to center here. Movies.
Movie reviews.
I had to work this weekend, so
Yep.
you and Jack had a little Daddy Jack time.
Yep, we went and saw The Fall Guy, the new one that came out this last weekend. And it's pretty good. It's
You
directed.
liked it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. It's directed by the guy who did Bullet Train and John Wick. And so it's kind of got that. If you've seen Bullet Train, it's kind of got that humor. It's
Okay.
like in the action, like they fall and accidentally grab a pan that hits them across the face.
Yeah, kind of.
It's kind of like that sort of
Yeah.
like that, like kind of silly sort of comedy sometimes.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It actually is pretty funny, and it's got some pretty cool because it's loosely based on the TV show that was I believe it starred Lee Majors back in the 80s, and it was about a stunt. He worked as a stuntman who moonlit as a bounty hunter, in the TV series.
Okay.
And so in this one, he's a stuntman, and he ends up eventually kind of like he's searching for his actor that he stunts for goes missing, and so he's. I'm sorry, what's going on?
I'm sorry. I have mosquitoes attacking me.
No, it's all good.
So
No,
yes,
he's a stuntman, and long story short, essentially it's about he's a stuntman. The actor that he's a stuntman for goes missing, so the producer asks him to find him, and so you find out through all the stuff what's going on.
But don't tell us the end.
And it's cool though because since this is a movie about a stuntman and he's looking for this, the movie itself has some pretty cool stunts. They do a pretty cool. They really take their time with some of these stunts, and it was really cool the way they did it. It's got that sort of cliffhanger, Indiana Jones kind of thing.
Yeah, nice.
And it was it's not just kind of shoot, and you see bullets.
Like action-y.
And it was very well choreographed,
Yeah.
and it was cool. It was really good.
And I know
and you
Jack
like it because
loves-
it's got a cool little love story to it.
Oh
as well.
yeah, give me that romance, baby.
Of
I
course.
love Emily Blunt too. I don't see. No offense. It's kind of like gossiping, I guess. When we talk, if I talk badly about an actor, is that gossiping? And it's not
Right.
like he doesn't know. I don't really like Ryan Gosling. Like,
You don't like as a person?
Well, no, I don't know much
No.
about him, honestly.
You just don't. You're just not
just
into him.
don't think
likability wise in a movie.
I think he gets a lot of unnecessary praise.
Okay.
I don't think he's that
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh, you mean like because everyone thinks he's so dreamy? And
Yeah, and
Man, I will
beautiful,
say,
and just,
I
don't
will
know.
say that man, he is pretty ripped in this movie. Holy cow.
All right, well,
And
maybe
Emily
I'll
Blunt
come
looks
back.
pretty good herself too. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
he is.
she's
And I will say
beautiful.
he actually is pretty charming and funny in this movie. He's almost kind of bumbling. Like
Okay.
he almost kind of comes across like he's coming off a hangover. almost. But
okay.
but he's funny.
Charming.
He's charming, and
Okay.
yeah, and I mean the movie. I mean, he had a pretty good. To me, he had a pretty good likability factor in it.
Okay.
I mean, like seeing him after, or like seeing the movie, thinking
Should
about
have
the movie
been
after
Ryan
the fact.
Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean, somebody like him, it's kind of got that effect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I mean, he had a likability like that. He was pretty funny.
Okay.
Ryan Reynolds is his own thing. I mean, he's just funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it wasn't bad. And I mean, I would say this movie is definitely something that you'd like to see on the big screen too, because it's got it's got a few pretty cool little sequences that are
because the action's good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point he's driving a boat handcuffed backwards.
All right.
You know.
Well, don't
Pretty
share
cool.
too much. Okay.
Another one we saw an older one.
Yeah,
The Rock.
The Rock.
Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery, Ed Harris.
Jack wanted to see it.
Michael Bay movie, Jerry Bruckheimer production, explosions, boom, boom, boom. Everyone's seen it.
Boy movie.
Great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of funny. I haven't seen it in a long time, and going back to it, like I forget how actually long it took for them to actually get to the island. For
yes,
starters.
that's a big setup.
Yeah, and it's actually not as. They always it's like Con Air. Like, okay, it's got some cool action, but this stuff just wouldn't. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But this one, it's actually
fun.
got more of a relatability factor. I don't know. It's kind of, it was good. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Another one that I watched, you couldn't finish, Unfrosted.
I couldn't finish. I tried.
It's new on Netflix. Jerry Seinfeld directed it. He also stars in it. And it's got a slew of comic people from Jim Gaffigan.
A lot of his Seinfeld friends.
Amy Schumer. It's got a lot of Seinfeld people in it. People from Saturday Night Live. I mean, it's got a lot of people in it, but it's weird. I mean, it's got some funny moments in it, but it doesn't add up. I mean, it's all over the place. It feels like at one point it's kind of like acting, and Melissa McCarthy's in it too.
I mean, I like her. She's hilarious.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got good moments. And
I like him
since
too.
Seinfeld kind of co-wrote it, you can tell where...
It's Seinfeld-y.
It's Seinfeld-y, yeah. Because it'll all of a sudden feel like it's something out of a Seinfeld episode, but then it turns into some sort of it'll have some slapsticky stuff to it.
That I didn't really...
I mean, there's a whole sugar thing that's sort of
and
supposed to be about
ravioli.
drugs, where because one company took all the sugar, it started the Cold War. And I mean... It's
ridiculous. And there's a
ravioli that somehow comes to life, and
I don't know if he was shrooming when he wrote it.
I mean,
know.
And it's got some funny moments. Like, I mean, there's a character that plays a JFK. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
There's a guy that plays Walter Cronkite. And to me, it's actually one of the best bits, honestly. The guy that does the Walter Cronkite stuff's hilarious. But yeah, it's just all over the place. It's just kind of.
I couldn't finish it. I tried twice.
Yeah, I finished it, and yeah, it was whatever.
Yeah, ho hum.
It's on Netflix, so if you happen to watch it, it's free.
I mean,
so to
we watch
monthly subscription.
Yes, we watch Seinfeld almost every night to bed.
Yeah.
So we are a huge Seinfeld.
Yo, ma.
Yeah, family. That's a good episode. Where he
There's
hits his head.
I used to actually have the TV guide. I think I still have it somewhere, and it was right before the last episode was going to air, and so in this TV guide, it's a special one, and it has every episode in it.
Oh wow!
It's a full like a Entertainment
Do they make
Weekly.
That anymore?
Oh, I don't know, like the small ones.
Yeah.
Well, and this was a full size magazine, so it was
wow.
a special, but it has every single episode. It's funny, they'll rate.
I bet you that's worth money.
Probably is. I should find that because I do
you
have
should.
that somewhere.
And you have a baseball card that's worth money.
I do.
So,
I have to
but
find
we're
that.
rabbit
You have to
holing.
look that up,
That's
too.
for
Rabbit
after
hole.
the podcast. Okay. Yes.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld is our nighttime jam. It is a
yeah.
comfort. If I'm cleaning the house, I'll turn that on.
Mm-hmm.
And just listen to it because you don't really have to see it. I can see it in my head.
And I mean, I don't know. It's seriously,
Funny.
Who would your favorite character be?
Elaine.
Really? Yeah. For me, it's hard. It's okay, some episodes is Kramer, Yeah, some it's Elaine, some it's George. It's never Jerry.
It's never Jerry.
It's funny, like
it's never Jerry.
I think there was always sort of an
Kramer
inside
is
joke on that
favorite.
he was like he was always the one that wasn't the funniest and the worst actor.
I know, he was always laughing at his own jokes.
Yeah, it always just seemed like he was about ready to crack up, and it's funny, like even the Unfrosted show, like he's not an actor, really. He's just always kind of playing himself.
Yes, you are right. It's really funny because when he talks, I think of the Bee Movie because I've watched it so many times and Jack loved it so much that if I'm not watching it, I feel like I see the bee talking.
Yeah. No, I don't understand.
He doesn't even change his voice for that.
No, yeah.
But I like Elaine because she's the girl and I'm a girl. And so it's relatable, like the stuff that they put her through. You know what I mean? Kramer's hilarious, and I got to meet him.
I mean, his physical comedy.
Michael Richards came up to me when I was like in my 20s. We were at a Laugh Factory with girlfriends, and he like came up to me and my girlfriend, and we're like super funny. And I think I talked about this on the podcast before. So I feel like I have like because I've met him before, I like him too. So it's a tie. But George can be funny, but he's not a favorite for me.
He is funny though. I mean, when he gets all worked up and George is getting upset. He's just hilarious.
Yeah. Yo, ma.
One show that we did finish, it says that The Innocent.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
You're already done with that one, right?
I think so. We talked about
The Innocent. It's a new Harlan Coben one that we started watching.
Yeah.
Last week.
Man, that's rough. That is a
It
definite,
is.
not a normal
definitely a
Harlan
different-
Coben.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it was the filmmakers that kind of elaborated on some of the scenes, or if it's just a different Harlan Coben novel itself.
Though, so sexual.
Well, I mean,
Beyond
it's dealing
the
with
point of it should be X-rated.
Well, I mean, it's well, I mean, it's sexual to a degree. To me, it's way more brutal.
Sexually,
I mean, there's some dancing.
Violent.
There's dancing, and there's things that they say.
And there's
you
sex.
know, I mean, there's insinuated things. To me, it was a brutality.
There's a lot of naked women. A lot of naked women.
Yeah, I mean, but man, I mean, it's like what they do. Yeah, it all centers around this character who accidentally kills somebody by pushing him, and he hits his head, and he's killed, and he goes to prison. Yep. And while he's in prison, he's let out for a day, and he meets this girl. And then years later, he sees that girl again, and then they get married. And then all of a sudden, one day, she goes for a job, business trip.
Out of town.
And she goes missing. He starts getting these texts and videos of her in bed, laying in bed, but with blonde hair, and this guy's naked, and he's like, what the heck is going on? And
you like see his stuff. So I mean, it's definitely
definitely.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, the other story is sort of this detective who is going, a nun has committed suicide, and she's figuring out
and the mystery,
that case, and then that's how they combine, and how one thing leads to another.
Warning, though.
It all kind of deals with strippers and
drugs.
This bad guy who kind of runs this stripper thing.
Violence, rape.
And really, it's like it's almost kind of hitting home like today, because it kind of deals with underage girls and these very powerful men that what they do, and these videotapes that somebody wants. And
it's very uncomfortable.
It is. I mean, as to me, it's not my favorite.
No.
I mean, and really, I mean, like the big reveal at the end, it didn't have the same boom as some of the other shows did.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't waste your time.
No.
I mean,
I mean, if you can handle brutality, it's just there's some brutality.
To me, it's not worth putting yourself watching that brutality. It's just a lot.
Yeah. There is.
It's a lot. And if anybody has had any trauma, sexually trauma, or any abuse, watching this will be triggering if you haven't worked through your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it deals with the sex trade kind of stuff a little bit.
And like just violent, abusive men
well,
to
that's
women.
what I mean with brutality, because I mean, it's the fact that, like, I mean, him and one guy, like, these characters are beating the crap out of these two girls, like, kick him in the stomach, and then they'll shift to the next scene where they're, like, laying on each other, dancing up on stage. Like, you're just like, oh, my gosh, dude. You know? They're, like, bruised and battered, like, just trying to keep it together. To me, that's where it's like, oh, my gosh.
Oh, it's
you know what I mean?
Bad.
Yeah, and then plus the fact that they're like taking bases and smashing people's faces.
There really is no reason to watch it.
There's no redeeming value in the show.
There really isn't.
It's a Harlan Coben novel, and he does great
him.
mysteries, and yeah, this one just has a different turn than some of the other ones.
It is a good mystery, but it's not worth all that.
Yeah, for sure.
In my opinion.
For sure. We started another one called A Man in Full. Just aired on Netflix, I guess, over the weekend, or it may have even been just last night. Brand new,
yeah.
Man in Full with Jeff Daniels.
I always want to say Jeff Bridges.
The better half of Dumb and Dumber.
Yep.
Or one of the
And he is, like, tough in this one.
I'm not sure if he was dumb or dumber in that. Which one was he?
I don't know. I want to say he was dumb. And
yeah, Jim Carrey was dumber.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
But yeah, the show itself is what? I mean, it's about this like big business tycoon. He's on top of the world, Forbes, Mr. Guy, and then all of a sudden...
the bank comes for his money.
Yeah, he's in huge debt, and what is he going to do?
And it's depressing.
I mean, I don't know. After the first episode... We only watched the first episode.
I know.
After the first... And it's 6 episodes. They're about 40
like Ozark,
minutes.
That kind of sucked.
It kind of had that
first
feel
one,
to it. It's sort of...
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and I mean... Yeah, it doesn't really end where you're like, oh, I can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah, I was like...
It just sort of is like, all right, so that was the first episode.
And then I was like, okay, we can watch Unfrosted. And then I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Because they both kind of suck.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it? Did you like it? You want to watch another one?
To me, it was one of those shows that was like, okay, I'll give it one more episode, and if it doesn't do anything for me, then I'm done.
Sure.
Because sometimes it does take a couple, like you said, Ozark.
Definitely.
I mean, we watched 2 episodes, and we were like,
and we stopped watching it for like a while.
Yeah, we went like 2 or 3 months.
That's right.
And then we picked it up, and we're like, holy crap, why'd we put this down?
Yeah, that's right.
Of course, that's dealing with like drug cartels and drug trade stuff, but I mean, come on, Jason Bateman.
Oh man, Jason Bateman's rad.
But yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, it's sort of hit or miss to me on A Man in Full. I mean, you might like it. I don't know if it may take you.
I don't know. I'm ready for.
I'm willing to give it one more.
Some inspirational, happy romance TV, honey.
Oh man.
Let's watch some happy things.
Like Steel Magnolias or something like that.
That's not happy.
Oh yeah, 'cause she has cancer and dies.
Died, yeah.
Poor Julia Roberts.
Yeah. You want to watch Pretty Woman?
No. That's not a bad movie.
What about Dirty Dancing?
Nobody But's Baby in the Corner.
Yeah, that's right. Amen. Okay, so we've been doing every single episode for the last couple episodes. Every single episode for the last couple episodes. We've been doing like God stories from actors who have been speaking up, talking about how they love Jesus and God. This is a musician, and we wanted to play it for you. It is a 3-minute video, and I want you to listen to the whole thing because...
Play the whole thing?
Yeah, because it really is good. And so here we go. It is...
This is Alice Cooper,
Yes. Who's the name of the person?
His real name?
Yeah, Alice Cooper's name of the band. Is it like... Well, he tells you right here.
Okay, yeah, because I want to see it was like... Wasn't it like Frank? Not Frank.
It starts with a V, like Vincent or something.
Yeah, Vince or Vincent.
All right, listen to this, guys. This is rad.
Right,
you guys know Alice Cooper. Come on.
Feed my Frankenstein. School's out for summer.
Ooh, it is almost out for summer.
Vince Bernier, probably known to you as Alice Cooper. How did you go from Vince to Alice?
We were called the Nazz, N-A-Z-Z.
Yeah.
And we found out that Todd Rundgren's band was named the Nazz, so we had to change the name. Now, we already had a notorious reputation in L.A. Right. We were the band that was like, what's going to happen? Very theatrical thing. And everybody said, well, let's call ourselves the Demon this or some horrific name. I said, what if we go the other way? I was thinking Betty Crocker. I was thinking, what's a great grandmother name? And then they get us. Right? And the first name I thought of was Alice Cooper. I said, it's like Alice Cooper. I thought that was a great grandmother name. Yeah. And it stuck. Everybody got the humor of this. They got the humor of, oh yeah, I get it. The juxtaposition of this. Now, one of the guys in that was a road manager, and his mother did the Ouija board all the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they asked her, who's Alice Cooper, and spelled out my name. Now, I believe that as far as I can throw this building.
Yeah.
But it was a much bigger story. Oh, they got the name for the Ouija board. She was a 13th century witch. Okay, the public wants to believe that.
Yeah.
Rather than, we were smart enough to call the band something opposite of what we were.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted people to think they were going to get a blonde folk singer, and they got us.
So speaking of a juxtaposition, how that happened, now tell them who Jesus Christ is to you.
Well, I mean, you know, it's everything. I mean, you know, we're not here without him. You know, most people I know, young people, think Jesus Christ is a swear word.
Yeah.
You know, even at Solid Rock, you know, where we have the teenagers down there,
Right.
they have no idea that who Jesus Christ is.
Yeah.
He's not preached enough.
Yeah.
You know, most written about character of all time
Yes.
in history,
Right.
and yet people go out of their way to not believe in him.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they don't want to give up their godship.
Yeah.
You know, they want to be. I'm a good enough. They believe the Hollywood version of, oh, I do more good than bad, that kind of thing. And I go, boy, this guy, Satan's got you right where he wants you.
I like
You know,
that.
to believe that.
Yeah.
Because I'm the way, the truth, and the life, and no one cometh to the Father but by me.
Right.
I said, yeah, those are the truest words ever spoken. And
Yeah.
how can you deny that?
Yeah.
You know, so as far as I'm concerned, I mean, my life is based on that now.
Yeah.
It's not based on my rock and roll. It allows me to be a rock and roller, but follow me.
Yeah.
So my lifestyle is, you know, my wife and I both. It's our lifestyle. Our kids. It's a Christian lifestyle. But again, it's the old saying: why should the devil have all the good music?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of Christian rockers out there.
Yeah.
You know, I just happen to be the most vocal one.
I love
pretty
it.
funny.
I mean, come on, Alice Cooper.
I know. Well, it's good to see, you know, it's kind of enlightening to see people.
What was
that-
his name? Vincent
Yeah, Vincent, oh, God, I remember.
Vaughn?
I can't remember what it said.
I swear it was like Vince Vaughn. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I love that he says that. And I love that, you know, all the myths of all the Ouija board witch stuff. He's like, nah, that wasn't a part of it. Like,
Yeah.
and you know, he's seen some stuff, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's lived a kind of lifestyle like that, too. It's interesting to hear him talk, like, you know, about how the Hollywood version, you know, well, I do more good than bad. Like, it's kind of like what we were talking about in
Yeah.
Isaiah, you know, like people think, well, you know, it's yeah, like I'm a good enough person. I
Yeah.
can get away with this because
Well, it's
at
like
least
talking
I
yourself
fed
out
the
of your
hungry.
sin. Yes.
Right, you know?
Goes back to that.
Yeah, it's kind of
You
interesting.
know? And he says, you know, I like that. He's like, that's exactly where he wants you.
Yeah.
That's where the devil wants you.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's when, and the devil is the devil's not hanging out when you're joyful. When you are stressed out in the storm, freaking out, that's when he really attacks you, because that's when you're at your lowest and you will break because you are stressed. So just protect yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Put that armor of God on.
Exactly. I agree.
More than anything, if you can just remember shield of faith. Put that on. Sorry, you know me. I have to give some energetic, prayerful advice and love.
That's right.
It wouldn't be me if I didn't.
Have it any other way.
Hey, there are a couple, or just one movie's coming out this weekend, right?
Well, yeah, switching off over to the new releases that'll be coming out here soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Planet
there's
of
a
the
few that are
Apes.
coming out, but the big one is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
It's Mother's Day weekend. I wonder if a lot of moms are going to go see that.
Huh. I can't imagine.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of interested.
I mean, maybe the Fall Guy, honestly.
Yeah. Would you go again?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'd see it again. It was a good movie. No, but yeah, this is the new sequel to the Planet of the Apes
I
movies
wanna
as they've been
see
going along.
it.
The only one I've seen the redone version of Planet of the Apes, which had Mark Wahlberg in it. I haven't seen.
You never saw the Charlton Heston ones?
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but they've like redone them now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, there's Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg, and then
Yeah.
there was like I think there was like a Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
I mean, I feel like it
War
was
of the Planet of the Apes, and now we're
just
on
the CGI
Kingdom.
on the big screen.
Well,
Probably
and
gonna
I
be cool.
hear that some of those are pretty good. I just
Yeah.
haven't really ever seen them. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Matinee.
Yeah, but there are a few that are coming out that look kind of interesting to me. There's one that's it comes out the next week. It's called I Saw the TV Glow,
Yeah.
and it's something about it's like, man, you even watch a trailer and it just looks weird.
Tripped out.
Yeah, it's like set in the 80s because they have like VHS tapes.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's
I like
it's
that.
about like
That'd be
this.
good art direction.
It's something about this guy and this girl. And it goes between like when he was younger and when they're a little bit older, and it's like this TV show that they're like obsessed with, and it's kind of like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer where these characters are fighting off monsters and demons in the show and da da da.
Yeah.
But somehow in this, it sort of like reflects their lives, and it starts to become they're not sure what's reality and what's not. I don't know. It looks very strange to me. It looks intriguing. It's called I Saw the TV Glow, and it's made by this filmmaker who's kind of like been well known, I guess, for doing this other film that he did. We're All Going to the State Fair or something like that. But yeah, and then there's I don't know if we mentioned this before. It's a new one that Channing Tatum has coming out. It doesn't come out till the end of August.
I'd
but
like
it's
to
called
see.
Blink Twice.
Yeah.
And it's directed by, I believe it's his girlfriend actually too, Zoe
Oh,
Kravitz,
really?
Lenny
Oh,
Kravitz's daughter.
Oh, man.
And yeah,
That's
this
cool.
movie looks like a trip. I mean,
Yeah, it does.
It's sort of like a comic psychological thriller thing. It looks to me like that movie, The Menu.
Yes,
You know,
very
with the
much
girl,
so.
and you know, and they don't realize how they're serving
The-
it. If you haven't seen The Menu, yeah, that with Ray Fiennes. Oh boy, the way that
It's
yeah.
a whodunit murder mystery.
Yeah, and this one, it's something about like Channing Tatum is like a superstar, and he invites these two girls to one of these lavish parties he has, and it's not what you think it is, pretty much. You
Dun,
know?
dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
It does look interesting. though.
Yeah, it
Are
looks
they
kind of interesting.
rated R?
Yes.
Both of the I Saw the TV
I
Glow
don't know.
and-
I saw the TV Glow. I think it's PG-13.
And what about Kingdom Planet of the Apes?
Those are PG-13.
Yeah, I
They're
figured.
gonna draw on the family.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
kids.
Totally.
There's another one that looked kind of interesting to me. I don't know like how well it's gonna be. It's with Tyrese, you know, the Fast and Furious actor,
Yeah.
and a couple other people. It's called 1992. Originally, it was called August 29th, 1992, like the Sublime song.
Yes.
It's all about the LA riots, and apparently it's about his character. He's trying to save his son from an angry mob that's starting to grow.
That's
and-
scary
and it's all
because you
set in 1992.
experienced that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember 1992.
I
I
was
remember
not-
the LA riots.
Yeah, I wasn't in California yet, so that's crazy. So
I
you
was
probably
a
want to see it.
sophomore. Yeah, I mean, it looks interesting to me. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind kind of checking it out. There's been a few movies that have done it around it. There was a movie called Dark Blue, I think, with Kurt Russell, where they're like cops that.
I like
It was
Kurt Russell.
like the backdrop was the LA riots, and they're trying to like solve a murder or something like that, you know. But yeah, I
But
mean,
you
it was
do want to see it.
man.
It's
Yeah, I
on the
want to
list.
see it. I mean, yeah, that.
Wait,
that
who's
did
in
come-
it?
Tyrese Gibson.
Just say that. I'm sorry.
He's the actor from Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't remember. There's a few
Girl
other people.
wise,
What's
is
that?
there any like famous girls?
In that movie?
Yeah.
I don't remember. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I just remember him being like kind of the lead in it.
Yeah.
It just looked kind of interesting to me. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not, but it looks kind of interesting.
Well, at least
1992.
movies are starting to come out. It's been like dry and hot, like nothing's
Yeah, I
out.
know. It's kind of
Ugh.
sucked. It's about time they finally start coming out.
Complain. I don't mean to complain. We are so blessed, but I'm ready for some good.
But it's true.
movies.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And today we're going out with a new song from.
Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. That's what we're
Boom.
going to do. They have a new album coming out in June 14th.
It's like right around the corner.
Yeah, and this band, they're all in other bands. They're like Strung Out and Lagwagon and No Effects and Swinging
We've
Utters.
talked
and
about
all-
them too.
Yeah, we've
'cause
talked about these
gone
bands
to their
before.
concert. Yeah.
And so when they get together, all they do are cover songs, and they've done.
Which I love because then I know the songs.
Yeah, and they previously they did a live album, but they did it in a different way. They did it at this kid's house in Malibu for his bar mitzvah.
Yeah, that's
They're
hilarious.
Johnny's Bar Mitzvah is what it was. It was like, yeah, live at Johnny's Bar Mitzvah. And they did all these songs, and they were newer songs that they had done at this Bar Mitzvah. Well, their new album is another live album. And this one is at a quinceañera. A quinceañera, I should say.
So it's kind of an interesting because it's
Madison's
like they
quinceañera.
talk.
Yeah. And so it's a full live album, and it's
Yeah.
at somebody's house. But it's
Right.
at, like, somebody's house.
Yeah.
And then they're doing a live album. And it's funny.
It's funny.
Right now, they've only released a few songs
Yeah.
that are...
What is that
That are on
called?
the album.
Is that like called an EP when they just do one at a time?
No, well, the EP
Oh.
would be if the album itself was only like, maybe 4 or 5 songs.
Oh,
It's what they call extended plays or whatever type
okay.
things.
I
But
gotcha.
they've only released a couple of songs on the album so far. It's fully released in June. Right now,
Okay.
they're giving you a tease with a couple of songs.
Teases, yeah.
So right now they have 2 songs out that they've released, and like I said, they're all cover songs. So one is called "Dancing Queen" by ABBA,
Yeah.
and the other one is a song called "Good for You" by Olivia Rodrigo. I don't really know "Good for You" too well.
I don't either.
Our daughter Amelia does, but I do not. But we thought we'd go out with "Dancing Queen,"
Dancing.
and it's actually a pretty good version.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, this is coming off of Me First and the Gimme Gimmes album called "Blow It" at Madison. Quinceañera, and this is Dancing Queen. Take care, guys. We hope you have a great week.
Yeah, we love
ya.
you. Thank you for listening.
Touch drugs.
Touch drugs.
Madison, Little John, I want to know what your interests are. What's your favorite kind of music, for example? Do you like ranchero music? All right. I understand you're into cheerleading too, as well. All right, that's good to know. That's all I need to go from here. This next one is a cover. Lee, hold on a second. I think you're gonna dig this next one. Madison is 50 years old. She's in love with a retro. She's in love with a cheerleader. Whoa. She won't rock this one now.
Uh-oh.